realized recently that all 3 of my string of hearts are in dire need of some maintenance, so I figured today could be kind of a pampering day for them. And if I have time, I also have some hoya that I'd love to propagate, and I might potentially repot a plant, so we'll just kind of see where the day takes us. But let's start off with these string of hearts. This first one right here, this was actually in my September favorites that I just put out recently. It's my variegated string of hearts, and I think it's so adorable, but it definitely just needs to be propagated because it's hitting the bottom of the cabinet. So I'll chop it up a little bit. I'll probably water propagate it is what I'm thinking, and I'll pot it back inside the pot, and at that point I might just kind of repot the plant altogether because I think that it's gonna need that really soon. Let's see. My string of hearts Silver Glory needs some help. It's very barren up top, as you can see. And some of it is doing well. Like, there's definitely new growth, but there are a few strands that have started to die off. So I just need to prune it, I think. And I do have, I do have some propagations that are ready to pot up, and I'll probably try to combine it all in the same pot. We shall see. Alphonse, I might need to put you away. I don't think I can do this with you sitting here. He's triggered by these stringy plants. Oh, and then here, this is my regular string of hearts that has been outside all summer. And just look at how vibrant and beautiful that is. It's been loving being outside, but it's so tangled, and I think it also needs to be pruned. And there are a bunch of blooms that I want to remove because I think that the leaves have just not been very large, and I think part of that is due to blooms, part of that is due to it drying out so quickly. But yeah, so I just need to take care of these plants. So let's start with that, and I'm gonna put you away for now, buddy. I'm sorry. And it was really cold this morning. I actually started bringing in my plants because last night it got down to the 40s, but now it's not that cold anymore. So let's do this. See, I think I'm gonna start with the string of hearts Silver Glory. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with this plant. Yeah, there's new growth, but there's also a lot of it that looks dehydrated and unwell. So actually, let me bring you in to look at this. So here's the state of this plant. As you can see, some strands are like entirely deflated and really don't look good, while other strands have new growth. Like, this is completely new growth. So it's just a tangled mess. And I feel like this is gonna be quite the doozy to do. I'm wondering if some of this, has it just not been watered enough? Does it need a repot? I don't know that it needs a repot, but I'm just gonna try to detangle this, and I'm realizing right now that this is gonna take a really long time. What have I done to myself? First, I'm going to locate the vines that are definitely like dead, like this right here, so dead. And I'm just gonna start cutting at it and trying to pull it away. Kind of get to the root of why it's dying. All of that is just unwell. Yeah, these whole vines right here. Question for you guys. Are you the kind of person that gets anxious when you have to like do something like this, like untangling plants, I guess? I don't know, like something tedious and repetitive and detail oriented. Do you get anxious when you do it, or do you feel relaxed when you do it? Because I know some people that would find this task to be so relaxing, just the monotony of it. Hint of strategy, but ultimately you're just kind of trying to do something that's ultimately going to be pretty satisfying. Like, I know some people that would find this really nice to do, but I personally tend to feel more anxious. But I think I would enjoy it more if I had all the time in the world. I think the tension that I feel and the anxiety that I start to feel and the overwhelm that I start to feel is simply due to the fact that I know that I have a limited amount of time to get it done. And I feel like my mind is racing. So I'm like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to do this for so many other plants and I'm stressed out. But I have a limited amount of time because my kids are napping right now. Yeah. I think part of it is just that like hyper awareness of I'm not gonna have time, you know, and that it adds pressure, I think. So I actually went ahead and purchased a plant off of Facebook yesterday. I tend to be a massive lurker on those plant purge groups and stuff that are local to me. I like never really buy anything, but I'm always looking at stuff. But I went ahead and took the plunge and I bought something yesterday and my husband's gonna go pick it up for me. Even though my husband's probably gonna get it while I'm filming, I don't know if I wanna show you guys yet. You might have to wait because I want it to be a surprise because I think I wanna do another video that's like a collective plant haul this month because I'm expecting quite a few plants, I think, this month, just from plant trades, and I know somebody is thinking about giving me a gift, which I'm really excited about. Okay, I'm like not even really focusing on this anymore. I'm totally zoning out. I'm not, like, what am I doing? I think that's because of my fatigue. I've been noticing that I have not been able to focus very well recently. Actually, pretty much ever since I had my second child. I've had a really hard time focusing on tasks and I'm just exhausted out of my mind. So I'm pretty sure that's why. All right, come on, focus. Sometimes it does branch off, which is really cool. Do you see that? I don't know how well you can see it. That's another way that your plant will get more full, is that it starts branching off down the same vine. I think that's really sweet, although it's not very helpful when I'm trying to disentangle this whole thing. Is this a hopeless endeavor? Because I feel like it's just gonna get tangled again. I just realized you couldn't watch what I just did. I just trimmed this part right back here. You see that? I don't know. So now I've got quite a few that I can propagate. These are all strands to propagate, but I'll deal with that momentarily. Oh no, come on. Not again. Oh my gosh, literally. It immediately just snags and gets tangled again. Oh my gosh, these things are impossible. There we go. Okay, so this is like fairly untangled now. It's good, and I removed all the dying portions. So now I do have these propagations that I'd like to add back in. There's at least one of them that kind of died. So let's take that away. Look at these little roots. So sweet. And it actually bloomed while it was in water, so that's kind of funny. I should have grabbed a chopstick. Maybe I can just use my fingers to kind of carve out a portion of the plant. I always get so nervous when I'm transferring propagations into soil, especially if they're water propagations, and kind of adding them back into the pot, because it's a little scary. I'm just kind of trying to go as deep as I can without bothering the other roots. I might add in some more soil, even though this is like to the brim. There we go. And soon enough, maybe next summer, or even sooner than that, I can repot this whole thing. But here it is. I'm gonna go water it in just a little bit. But look at that. It's a little bit more full, just a little bit. Man, yeah, she got a haircut. Don't be tangled again. Okay, then as for these little propagations here, I'm gonna just add them back into the vessel that the old propagations were in. And I'm just gonna repeat the process until I get a much fuller plant. But to do this, I just remove some of the leaves and get several exposed nodes, just because that's where the roots are gonna grow. It really helps to have a vessel with a narrow opening, if that makes sense, just because that way it kind of holds them in place. I've also heard of the butterfly method. I've tried that once and it didn't work supremely well for me, but I'm willing to try it again. Put all those in. That's pretty satisfying. Actually, this strand is so much longer than the other one, so I'm also gonna cut it and do the same thing. And I've been keeping this on top of my greenhouse cabinet where I have a grow light. So I'll probably do the same thing. There we go. Okay, next, this one will hopefully be a little bit easier because this one's slightly tangled, but not nearly as tangled. This is my variegated string of hearts. I don't know if I'm gonna really bother untangling all of it. For the most part, I just wanna trim it and just propagate it because it definitely needs that. Like I said, it's hitting the bottom of the cabinet now. And over here, these look not good. I don't know if you can see that. These ends right here look kind of stringy. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm just gonna trim it here. It's like a little haircut. This is like the next best vessel that I have for this. Ta-da! Although I feel like I'm gonna need to have a better way of holding this in place because it feels like it's gonna fall out. Again, I wish that I had a narrower opening, like a smaller jar or something, but it'll have to do for now. And let's address the rest of this plant here. Like this I might just trim the ends because it just doesn't look good. I don't know what happened. The variegation looks super cute on some of these hearts though, I will say. Look, so cute. But I want it to be nicer. All right, this has fresh growth. So let me just parse them out. This has fresh growth. But then some of these right here look like they kind of died off at the end, or they have really small hearts. Like, look at how tiny. And I want the hearts to be big and plump, you know? Up here, and this one, kind of right here. Okay, it looks like it did branch off with new growth. Do you see that? But this portion looks kind of like it's dying. So yeah, for the most part, I think that looks pretty good again. And now to address this one. This plant has spent the summer outside. I think, is this a seed pod? Look at that. This kind of looks like a seed pod. So that's kind of fun. Maybe I'll leave it alone. I don't know. But up here, it's just a mound that's a massive mess. I don't really know how much I'm gonna have the capacity to mess with that today, but I at least want to remove the blooms and give it a trim as best as I can, because look at that. I mean, it grew a lot this summer, but it definitely is kind of tangled. And I did already treat it for pests, just preemptively. I sprayed it down with a mixture of rubbing alcohol, dish soap, and water, which is kind of my go-to catch-all pest treatment for mealybugs and spider mites and that sort of thing. So I sprayed it down pretty thoroughly with that. Right now I'm just removing the blooms because, I mean, you don't have to remove the blooms, but I'd rather the energy go towards new growth than towards the blooms. And I don't necessarily like the look of them either. They're kind of weird looking, in my personal opinion. I mean, again, you don't have to do what I do. Yeah, so many of these leaves are just tiny. So I'm gonna give it a big old trim. And I don't even know that I'm gonna propagate it necessarily. I'll just trim it. But oh, I also added some systemic to the soil and watered that in just in case there were some pests that made their home this summer. I just don't wanna take any chances in reintroducing this to my home over the winter. Look at so many little blooms to remove. I don't know if I'm ever gonna get this untangled. It's a rat's nest. That's what my mom would say. Ugh, my hands are getting so gross. I'm just gonna like pick some places and just start trimming away. Cause like, look at how tiny these leaves are. I don't even wanna bother keeping those. I don't need them. They're still really cute, but I don't know. I feel like this plant is just capable of getting so long and overgrown and tangled that sometimes you just need to trim them and be done with it. Other times, if you want to propagate it to make it fuller, that's fine too. This is the kind of plant that I take outside just about every summer and it grows like crazy. And then over the winter, it kind of enters a dormancy period while it's inside. So I just don't really bother. Okay, all of these are gonna go. Ta-da. That just makes life so much easier. Isn't that satisfying? I will say these hearts are so thick. Some of the hearts, like the silver glory, the way that they've grown, it's just, they're much thinner. I don't know, these ones are super robust. I don't know if you can tell the difference on camera, but there's a big difference right here as I'm touching them. Like, my goodness. That's like an offshoot small ones. I guess I can keep that. There are a lot of little offshoots of tiny, tiny hearts. Oh my gosh. Those are so cute. This is literally so tangled. I mean, it's beautiful, but tangled. I would love to get these to root on top. Maybe I can pin them down. Oh, here's another portion. I think I'm just gonna trim. Maybe here. Before I continue, my hands are so dirty, and I also want to clean off this pot because it's got algae on it, just from being outside, I guess. Just kind of gross, so hang on. That's a little bit better. Say that's good enough. Okay, so there we are in our journey of pampering my different string of hearts plants. I think that they're all honestly doing relatively okay. The silver glory is definitely doing the worst of them all, but you know, it's fine. But I'm actually really pleased with how well these plants have been doing in general. I feel like I'm finally kind of getting a handle on their care, which is really, really fun. I did not always feel that way. Now that I'm done with the different string of hearts, oh my goodness, they're all so fun next to each other. Look at them all in a row. They're so cute. Okay, the next thing on our to-do list today is to propagate some hoya. Right here is my hoya obovata, and I got it as a vine with just 3 leaves on it, and it has grown a decent amount since then. Not quite as quickly as I had hoped, but my goal with this plant is to get a really nice full like basket vibe, you know what I mean? So I think I'm gonna just finally chop up this plant, not all the way down, but just get a few more propagations off of it, and then I'll pot it together just to make the pot a little bit more full. Hi, husband. So we'll do that. And then my Hoya linearis has been growing so well, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful and long. And this is also hitting the bottom of my greenhouse cabinet. So I'm gonna need to propagate these 2 strands right here just because they're getting a little bit out of control. So I'll take some propagations of this and yeah, let's just keep going. All right, I'm just gonna propagate this in moss, I think. It'll be pretty straightforward. It'll be so weird to have this like not as full as it has been, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run. Hopefully it'll propagate well, but right here, I don't know how you can see that, but there's, hi Alphonse, what are you doing? I welcomed my cat back, but you're so cute, buddy. How am I gonna get any work done with you? You're blocking the plant, dude. It has some aerial roots already right here. So I think that that gives me hope that this will propagate easily. There we go. Hoya, if you didn't know, they can root like all along the stem basically. So I just try to cut it pretty closely to this portion. Then I just put it in the moss and add some more around it. And I'd say that looks pretty good. There we go. I'm gonna water this in so it doesn't fall over. And now looking over here, oh, I did not realize how close the internodal spacing is between these 2 cuts. Look at that. That's wild. This leaf really did just decide to grow right here. So I think I'll make another cut down here because I don't want to cut here. No, thank you. That's just not enough space in my book. So cut here. Oh my gosh, these stems are so thick. Wow, that's amazing. And yeah, there's more aerial roots here too. Do I want to make another cut? I think I may as well cut here because I feel like that's a pretty easy one. I guess that's kind of the growth pattern of this plant. I mean, it's doing that same thing. Huh, interesting. Now I could cut like all the way down to the bottom here, but I don't think I want to do that. I think I'll leave it right here and then I'll have 3 more parts of plant that I'll just pot up in here and then it'll be like really an actual full pot, I think, which is super exciting. Let's do that. I've been bringing some of my plants in, as I mentioned, from outside. Oh, and as I've been doing that, I'm realizing that I think I feel pretty determined about purging, I guess, some of my plants, either selling them or most likely just giving them away to some friends that also are interested in plants but maybe don't have the most experience. So I would never give them a plant that has pests or anything like that, just because if they don't really have experience growing a plant, I don't want to give them a plant with pests. That just would not be okay, unless I guess they wanted to try their hand caring for a plant that has pests. That would be kind of funny. But no, I'm not going to do that to somebody. There are a handful of plants that I have that I think would be fairly beginner friendly, but I'm just kind of tired of them. They're not really bringing me joy. I don't even know if they really ever did to begin with in the first place. So I don't know. I'm definitely considering getting rid of some plants and kind of resolving to do that pretty soon here. I think my main thing is just that I've been really considering how I've curated my houseplant collection, and I want to be more intentional about having plants in the right spot and having plants that I really truly love. And I do want to create more planty spaces in my home, you know, be that putting up some more shelves or more grow lights and stuff like that. Maybe even get a new cabinet, maybe. We'll have to see. But I think a lot of us are actually kind of in that phase. Let me know if you are as well. And curating your houseplant collection and really trying to be more intentional about the plants that you're bringing in. I'll cut you right here. And this is a nice long strand. I don't know, should I cut this down further? I guess I technically could. Why not? Let's do it. Try there. I've suddenly gotten so focused, I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, I've also been considering that I really would love to try taking care of like a few different kinds of plants. Like I'd love to add more Hoya to my collection. I would love to try more anthurium, maybe try some aglaonema, and then some carnivorous plants. Like, I don't know, there are just so many cool plants that I would love to try, but I also don't want to have like 300 plants in my collection. I definitely don't have the capacity or the room for that. I think I'm currently hovering around like the 150 mark if you include propagations, which I guess some people do and some people don't, but they're still independent plants that I'm having to take care of and water, even if I'm not going to keep them in my collection long term. But look at that. Oh, that's so fun. Okay, so this is my Hoya linearis now. Definitely a nice little haircut. That's good. I feel so accomplished, guys. I'm gonna water these guys in like I did this. I just put a bit of water into these cups and then I drain it out because I didn't really bother adding drainage to these. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. I don't always find it super necessary. For my sphagnum moss propagations, I tend to prefer putting them in my prop box just because I found that they root better in there with all the added humidity and I don't have to worry about keeping the sphagnum moss moist, and it's a lot more low maintenance that way. I'll put these in that. And then I think the main thing that I wanted to do next, I'm gonna check this plant for pests. It's a Scindapsus pictus argyrius that I've had outside all summer and it has grown tremendously. Like, this was grown from little tiny propagations. Ooh, thank you. Oh, I can't show you guys. This is the new plant. Oh my gosh. No, I gotta save it. I have to save it. Oh, it's beautiful. Don't you think it's beautiful, Clay?
It is beautiful.
Ah!
And the guy that sold it was very kind.
Anyway, so this is my Scindapsus pictus argyrius that has been growing outside, and I want to inspect it for pests, and then I want to consider, like, if it's all clear, I want to pot it up with my normal Scindapsus pictus argyrius. Let's see. It definitely has some leaves in here that, oh no! Oh, you guys, this plant has been growing so well, but it totally has root rot now. I wonder if it got too cold and like it got shocked or something, because I just like pulled at some of the roots. Maybe it's not all of the plant. Maybe it'll be okay. No, not all of it is rotted. I think it's gonna mostly be okay. But look at it, it's so cute. Such nice leaves. It grew so well. I am gonna give it a spray down with that mix I was talking about. I will also add this systemic to the pot. I just like to massage the leaves, keep inspecting. I don't really see any pests, although I did see some mealybugs on some of the plants that are out there. It doesn't hurt to just be safe. Admittedly, you guys, this is gonna be a little bit bittersweet because I don't think I'm gonna be able to keep this plant hanging up on the wall anymore. And this plant has always been up on the wall pretty much since I've had it. It's gonna be weird. I'm gonna have to find a new plant to put there. And it has to be pretty particular because it has to be able to tolerate fairly low light. We'll see what I decide to do, but I've been meaning to like repot this plant for the longest time. It gets thirsty really, really quickly. Mostly because, I mean, yeah, it's in terracotta, but Alphonse, again, boy. I've definitely gone through periods of neglecting this plant, but even so, she does look really, really beautiful. She'll be even more beautiful when I pot these two plants up together. I'm so excited. I'm kind of thinking of potting them together in this really wide but shallow terracotta pot. I think that they'll both fit. But again, that means I cannot have it up on the wall because it's just too big of a pot. I would not be surprised at all if there were some dead roots in both of these, but Scindapsus is honestly fairly robust. It's kind of like pothos in that way. It's very forgiving, so you can get away with a lot. Let's see, that's probably good enough layer. Let's see what we're working with here. Oh my goodness. Actually, these roots look pretty good. They're all pretty hidden in there, but yeah, it's not like completely root bound, but like it was definitely getting there. And then let's see if we can squeeze this one in here too. Oh my goodness, I'm making a mess. Wow, that's also pretty nice and full too. Oh my gosh. You guys, I'm already so excited about this. Look at how beautifully full this is. Again, it's a little bit bittersweet, but this is a gorgeous plant all together. It's so nice and full now. And I don't know if I finished my thought from earlier, but this plant, if you didn't catch it, was made up of propagations from this plant. So really, it's coming full circle. This is all the same plant, technically. like get all of these roots covered, you know? Oh my gosh, you guys. Hang on, I gotta show you. I gotta give you a better look. You guys. Look at this plant now. Oh, she's so beautiful. Look at. I mean, she's got a lot of dirt all over her at this point. I'll wash all that away, but like, this is such a gorgeous full pot. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this. Do you see this? Oh my word. I freaking love this plant. I hope that she's happy here in her new home with, I guess, a roommate. Yeah, I definitely can't put her back on the wall. Like, she's way too heavy for that. But where am I gonna put her? This is gonna be a whole decision. Hang on. Also, don't mind, I just realized that this tape measure was just like sitting in the background. My husband was using it to measure his waist earlier because we're going to a Renaissance festival really soon, and he was buying a costume and like needed his waist measurement, and yeah, that's the whole background story. I don't know. I looked around my house and I thought that that would be the best spot for it, but maybe I'm just used to the other plant being there, but it's not enough height, I don't think. Like, it's nice that it's trailing down, but yeah, I don't think that's it. The only other space that I think would actually be a good option would be up here on top of my greenhouse cabinet. So I guess I could move a couple of plants. This is my Syndapsopictus silvery Ann, so maybe I could just put this where the old one was. But I was experimenting with giving this one more light to see if it would make it happier, so I don't know. Okay, I went ahead and moved some things around and put the plant here in the cabinet. I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know how much I really love where it's at. I don't know. It's a beautiful plant, but it just feels a little bit crammed to me here. I'll give it a few days and we'll see. I might switch things around, but that's pretty standard for what I do around here. I move plants around and rearrange on a semi-regular basis. Now I need to figure out what to do with that empty space. Should I put this plant there? All right, let's try this out. Do we like it? I mean, obviously it's not going to be the same. It's gonna feel a little empty for a while, but you know, it is what it is. Actually, I have an idea. By the way, I have to say this micans has been growing so much recently. Look at right here. All this is a new growth and it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. But this micans is getting really, really long to the point where it's hitting the monstera that's over there. So maybe this guy can go here. Maybe. I mean, we're back to like a nice and full look. And then if I put this plant up here, I mean, obviously it's always going to feel empty because there used to be a much bigger plant there. And also I found that when you rearrange a plant initially, like sometimes it takes a while for the plant's leaves to kind of rearrange and look correct. But I do think that this is maybe a better arrangement. There's already a lot going on down here with the monstera, which look at this new leaf, it's so pretty. Monstera, the rhophidophora. Got another plant there versus over there in that other corner where I just put the micans. There's nothing going on the bottom. So I think that this is gonna be more balanced. Yay! That works out. I feel like we're able to accomplish a lot today. Obviously between like bringing plants inside and treating them for pests and all that, I feel like there's just a lot that's gonna need to get done. I'm gonna have to do a lot of rearranging. I'm gonna purge some plants from my collection. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make some decisions. It's gonna be a busy next few weeks. Look at how snuggly he is. But I feel pretty good about how much we're able to get done today. But my kids are gonna wake up from their naps just just about any minute now. And I don't know if you heard that, but my stomach just growled. So I need to get myself some food. Thanks for joining me. And if you liked it, please feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe. All those things are super helpful for my channel. So yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.